Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. With my wife and kids, we run an antique shop in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, filled with some of the most unique items we can find. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
I'm home, honey.
Now I've got home, and I decided to bring what they call the Seeburg trash can because it looks like a big trash can. I brought this home because it's going to need the most work to assemble. I didn't want to have to store all these parts at the store, and it'll give me something to work on over the next little while. So this will be my my little project at home, trying to see how much of this jukebox I have. This is the grill, so there should be some cloth that goes on there. Well, it's gonna take me a little while to get this done, but with any luck, there'll be enough pieces to put together and at least make it whole again. The feeling that the parts I am missing might be available online, so I'll do a little research there. But I have to go return that trailer because I don't want to be hooked up to that all day long. Well, I was getting a few funny looks here at the car wash. I guess they probably don't see too many people bringing 1940s jukeboxes into the car wash, but I figured since it was disassembled, that was about the only time I could probably get that thing this clean. So why not? I had to get it back home again and pick up supper along the way. Hi guys, well this is day one of working on the old Seeburg trash can. It's actually called the Seeburg Symphenola, which is a much nicer sounding name than trash can, but that's the name it's lovingly given. I've been sorting some of the parts out, as you can see behind me. Every single piece was taken off of this unit pretty well. My goal here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it working or not. My goal is to at least assemble it to a point where I can see what's there and what's missing and see what it'll take to get it completed. But for now, I can't do much reassembly because I'm missing some little nuts and bolts and screws and things, so I'm going to make a little trip over to our local Lowe's, see if I can find those parts. Okay, back from the store. The reason I needed those little bolts was for this. This is where the, oh, it's got some weight to it. This is where the speaker goes. I'm gonna make sure that the wiring is at the bottom. And like that. So next step is we take the screws that I bought, these little guys right there, the 10/32, and we're gonna get those threaded on. And with any luck, they should thread on really nicely because, well, I tested out the thread and it should be the exact same thread. Be embarrassing if it's not. Am I gonna be embarrassed? Nope, it's correct. Let's get that snugged up for now. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a tighten with a 3/8 wrench. Now you could use spring washers on here to make sure that it doesn't come loose, but with 5 or 6 of these on here, it should be on there pretty tight. So I'm just gonna go around and do that all the way around. There we go. Speaker is back on. First thing reassembled on this unit. I should probably take the tape off too. Good thing I knew what this was, because anybody else, if they found that in the basement, they'd think, oh, clearly that's meant for the trash can, and probably throw it out. Not thinking that's the nickname for a jukebox. So we'll take that off now that that is on and in place. And I have an awful lot of work to do on this thing before we even get close to testing it out and seeing what kind of condition it's in overall. But at least I can say that's one less thing I have to worry about. I'm spending some time in the garage now, just basically looking for the missing parts from this machine. And they are everywhere. I found a few of the little bits and pieces, just have to clean that up. But at least it's there. That goes here. And in this box, there's a little piece of glass, fits in there. I'm sure that I'm gonna find the majority of the parts. One thing I'm missing is the big plastic dome for the top, but they do remanufacture that. Oh, there's even the little gasket. At least he kept most of the items for it. And all these little screws in here, which I'm sure are gonna come in handy for piecing this thing back together. Have to figure out what goes where, but that might be a job for another day. It'd be a good rainy or snowy day kind of project. But I'll get things laid out and I'll figure out where the bits go. I am not a pinball repair person. I don't claim to be an expert at this. I'm just gonna do my best to try and piece this all back together. Next up, it is the plastic pieces that go on the front. Now this has a bit of a crack. I'm gonna have to use some adhesive to remedy that. But these go right on the front. They just slip right down in the bottom there. So they clip in, and there's these great little sort of bars that go on either side to hold that in place, and you replace the light bulbs from the other side. So I can get these on, I can get these fixed in place. But I needed to run to the store to get the clips, the spring clips that were on the back, they were missing. So I got them now. I should be able to put at least the plastic trim on either side. But we're gonna put a little bit of glue on that crack. Where is it? Right there, one little crack in it. So we'll put some glue on there and tape that, let that dry overnight before I attempt to put those on. Start to get some color on it anyway. I'm kind of test fitting these pieces out, and as I get them into place, kind of looks like flame shooting down the side. There's this big gap right here, and I was thinking, well, that's weird, and then I noticed there's that mark there. That's because there's meant to be a piece of trim, and I think I know which one it is. Here it is. Something like that. Like these great sort of wings. Now I think that's the one for the, oh, is that this one? Nope, this is the one for the other side. Here we go. I'm gonna take these inside and clean them up. So that goes on like, see where the mark is? That's where it was, right like that. So before I put them on, I may as well take them inside and clean them up. Get all that debris off there, polish them up a little bit. Washing these little bits of chrome trim kind of remind me of washing the chrome on a car. I mean, they're ornate. They're really kind of beautiful. And it's so satisfying when they come up clean. I just have a little bit of work to do to get all of this, you know, years of grime and debris from sitting in that basement off and get it back to its former self. There's no point in putting this stuff back on dirty. You know, although I'm not doing a restoration of this unit, I can at least take care of some of this work and make it look as nice as possible. See how that washes up. Look at that, nice and shiny all over again. I think it looks kind of like bamboo. I think that looks almost like a stalk of bamboo coming up, but sure looks a whole lot better now. You do that to all the pieces, and then at least we'll let these dry and they'll be ready to go when the time comes. There we go, one box of shiny chrome. At least this stuff was all in good shape. Okay, these little trim pieces go on either side, kind of like that, and it holds the plastic in. I have to use these little spring clips on the back to hold it in place. So I'm gonna go through and place them all along and get that secured before I work on the top. But we'll at least start getting the side bits on. I'm taking a break from putting the trim on because I need to get slightly larger speed nuts for the back. That said, I thought I'd work on figuring out the numbering system. You can see everything, it's a little dirty, but look, they have numbers on, like that one's number 20. So I'm kind of going through and organizing them. I figure they mount onto these little boards. I don't have an instruction manual right now, so I'm kind of figuring this out as I go. These go on here. Those little pieces go inside. and that way they can swing around and be changed. Hopefully I have all the nuts and bolts for this somewhere in one of these little bins. I might. But I'm gonna get these all laid out here and see if I have them all. And I think the easiest thing to do is start with number 1 and work my way forward. And I can see from the holes that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these per section. So that'd be 20 different selections, probably with the side A and B on each one. So we're gonna go 1 to 20 and count them all out, make sure we have them all. How's it going, kiddo?
Oh.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure. It's almost in. I gotta.
Kind of tricky to line up.
Yeah.
And with the help of my son Jason, I got them all fixed and put back together. Now just to clean them up. So far, I've been kind of doing just a common sense kind of assembly on this jukebox. I've been trying to find the bits and pieces that look like they go where they go. You can kind of see where the shadows are. And so far, I've gotten quite a few things on. I was able to determine that all these little amplifier type pieces, they fit together, kind of like a little puzzle, and they clip in and screw in place. Got that in. This is the transformer for the lighting system. It was hooked up to all the lights that go around the side. See that? So we got all those on. This is a drip tray, and again, I found kind of the stain where it was before. That's an oil catch for the mechanism, so if you're oiling it, it doesn't get all over the inside of this machine. And there's a few other pieces around here, Paul. There's more than a few other pieces. There's this right here, and you look at it and you go, okay, well, that clearly looks like it should be a lock of some kind. And I was looking, and it looks like that goes right about like that for the door to catch on. So we're gonna get these things all attached. Once I have everything on, then we can start looking at getting the upper mechanism in, the selector in, and the very last thing I'm gonna put on is gonna be this, because that's super duper heavy, and I don't want to put it in yet, because it's just gonna get in the way of me trying to get the other assembly done. This is the mechanism that Jason and I got back together. It's actually in pretty good condition, really. These are little bits and pieces for the top, and I'm missing one big piece. I'm missing the dome. And I found this calendar. Oh, if I can get it off the ground here. That's what it should look like. That's what I'm working on. That's the jukebox I'm working on right now. So far, well, it's getting closer. I've got one side of the red trim on, and I polished up the chrome, so that's looking good. And yeah, pretty much everything else is off. But we'll go bit by bit. We'll get it done. I'm going to lean it over, I think, pretty soon and get the casters on the bottom. I did order the dome. You can see this piece right here is missing. The gentleman I bought it from said he did not have it. It was broken. So don't have that, but I do have the frame for it. And I've got some of the other bits that are important. So like I said, I'm going to try and assemble this as best I can. See how far I can get with more or less what I have here, and then we'll see. I do need another red plastic piece for right here. They sell the whole set, but the whole set is $600 American. When I have 3 out of 4 and they're in good condition, it's hard to spend $600 just to replace that one piece, but I'll see if I can find one on a forum, or maybe there's somebody who's parting one of these out that has it. Maybe somebody watching at home has one. You never know. So for the time being, I will not have that piece, but I did order the dome for the top, and I'm starting to work on getting the mechanism in. But next will be casters and then installing the center panel. Okay, I think I know where the change box goes. I'm just gonna step over here, gingerly step around the corner. To me, that looks like it goes right there. I just have to find the right screws. It's not threaded. I should probably take that off. I'm gonna give this a good cleaning and wipe down before we're all done here, but I'm just fitting all the parts here first. But don't worry, I'm not gonna leave it super dusty. That is, in fact, where that goes. So I just have to find the little steel machine head screws that kind of go in there and get that all in place. It looks like the coin slot mechanism probably would come up to about where the door is, probably all the way up to the top, so that when you put your change in, it goes right a little right into there. I don't know that it'll make that sound, but in my mind it does. That's one more piece. And things are starting to come together. Eventually this giant mess on my floor will not be here. Now just to tip it forward and work on getting these casters on the bottom. Little wheelie dealies right there. The casters will help this thing roll around. It's gonna get real heavy in a hurry once I start assembling the rest of it. So that'll be a handy thing to have on the bottom. Jason is taking the screws off the back of the Selector. And we've got to take the screws off the top here too, on both sides. And then we're gonna mount that sucker in place. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. You think you can put that on there?
Yeah.
It's like the jewelry of the jukebox. I can come give you a hand aligning it. Oops.
There we go.
Okay, so then we have to put the screws in and mount it in place. Oh, looks better already. Starting to look like something.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, ready for the other one? Or not yet?
Got it. Good. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Oop. And I dropped it.
It's down there
It's
somewhere.
right here.
Okay.
Found it.
It can be tense. Well, you knew your dad was a screw loose. Or missing my marbles. Both of things which have actually happened to me. Okay, once the top screws are in, we've got to attach the bottom, the two that you took out earlier.
Yeah.
So those two, you got them?
Yeah.
Okay, they go in through the underside.
Should just show up.
Yeah, they're kind of on an angle. It's tricky. Gotta line it up real good. So the next thing we're gonna do is get the lid put in place. It's gonna get it off the ground so it's safe, but we need to figure out what screws hold this hinge on. And to do that, we basically just look at the holes underneath and try and match up the threads that we have. Probably should have changed. I was at work earlier, but here I am in my vest and tie working on a jukebox, but that's how these things go. Okay, let's see if we can find the screws for it. Okay, think we found the screws. These are countersunk, which is important. I was telling my boy Jason, because they cannot protrude past this hinge, because if they came out like that, like if you had a bigger head on it, it would bump into it and this thing would never close properly and it would bind. So they have to go down like this. The reason I think these are the correct screws, one, they fit perfectly in the hole. They thread into the threads, and we counted 8 holes and we found 8 of them. So I think this is the winning ticket to get this thing back on there. And getting the last screw on. It's a little bit tight, but just about got it. You having fun building this, Jason? You like to build stuff? Like a big Meccano set that turns into a giant robot. Malt, 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 malt.
That plays music.
Yeah, it looks like an R2-D2, I think. It's coming together. Sure is. It's like a big angry trash can. Feed me. Well, once we get the glass on there, it'll look a little bit better yet. But it's starting to take shape. It's looking kind of jukeboxy. And I think we're gonna call it a night for tonight. Still have a ways to go until it looks like this. Can't wait until we get this thing put back together. But need to wait for some parts to show up in the mail, and that might be a few weeks yet. Okay, I have my little tiny mirrors. These are craft mirrors. We got them off of Amazon. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like $10 or so for 100 of them. Hoping that I have enough to go all the way around. We'll see. Basically making a big disco ball out of this. Now, originally the mirrors that they used were a blue tinted glass. I cannot find this in a blue tinted glass, but there is a spray you could use. Don't think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm just gonna leave it sort of the chromey finish. That should be fine. And I've got my handy dandy hot glue gun, and it is sticking like a darn. I had to remove these. I had to go underneath and scrape it off with a palette knife. These are not coming off anytime soon. So I'm being very careful to try and follow the line. Problem is they're just a tiny bit bigger than the original square, just like ever so much. So you can see that as you go along, I am now half a square out, and I'm hoping that this balances itself all out by the time I get to this point. If not, I might have to cut some of these squares. Don't really want to do that. So I'm going to keep going at it and see if this kind of gets to a nice level spot. Either way, I'm going to have to go all the way as far as I can here, and then do the same on the other side, which I've not done yet. And then I'll do the bottom part last. I guess this is the top actually, so I'll do the top part last. Should be interesting. I think I have a glass cutter somewhere if I need it. That hopefully won't come to that. I'm gonna keep at it and see how this all goes. Okay, the new top for the jukebox arrived in the mail, and I got it on. So let me kind of show you how it looks now. Mirrors are on and in place and looking nice and shiny. Got all the buttons working, which was quite a task on its own, but got that done. The new plastic dome, which was sort of like the ice cream in the cone, was missing completely, but I did have the chrome attachments for it, and we were able to get that all put back together. And I even got the turntable back in. Everything is more or less back together. The only thing I don't have, the only thing I'm missing, is the plastic like this for the other side. I have the chrome trim, I just don't have the plastic. I have the trim that goes around it, like so. But I'm leaving that off for now until I can track down some plastic. But as it sits right now, I already have a friend of mine who's interested in possibly purchasing it. So taking a whole bunch of those empty boxes out of the garage and knowing that I filled everything back onto the jukebox is a good feeling. So after what was probably about 5 or 6 days of work, we pieced together and now have a, I don't know, 95% complete. I don't know what percentage you count that plastic piece as. I'm gonna say 5%, but 95% complete Seeburg Symfonola trash can jukebox, and it's gonna be ready for the next person to take it to the next level. So thanks for watching my little reassembly video, getting that thing more or less pieced back together. It still has a little ways to go, but at least it's more sellable now, and it looks like something, which goes a long way when you're trying to sell an antique or collectible. So the next person, I'm sure, will get it back up and running and in good condition. I still have 2 at the store, which I'm going to try and get working and put back together. Don't think I'll do a video on those, but maybe I'll do an update and show you guys what they look like. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little mini assembly series, and don't forget to subscribe for more episodes. We'll see you all soon, and bye for now.